are the two conditions to be satisfied to produce the rotating magnetic field? The first one is the three-phase windings must be space displaced by 120 degrees each other electrical. Okay. The second condition is the currents passing through this must be time displaced by again 120 degrees. Okay. So that we have seen. So this is the three-phase winding which has a space displacement of 120 degrees electrical. Okay. For example, A phase, B phase, and C phase. Now, the currents which are having a time displacement of 120 degrees apart each other. That is A phase, B phase, and C phase. This is omega t. This is the space angle theta. Fine. Now, this is the condition. It is a physical proof or a mathematical proof. This is the condition. These two conditions must be satisfied. Okay. So, for simplification, we will take the cosine function. That is, I'll write here. See, A phase current IA is equal to. All of you mute your microphones. I maximum sin omega t. Who is that? 23. See, IA is I maximum sin omega t. This is the reference. And now IB equal to I maximum sin omega t minus 120. We have seen here in this diagram. Okay. So now IC would be I maximum sin. Okay. For simplification, I told you we will take the cosine functions. I maximum cos omega t, I maximum cos omega t minus 120, I maximum cos omega t minus 240. I think it is clear, everyone. It is basic, okay? Three-phase currents are displaced by 120 degrees each other electrical. Now, what is the formula for MMF? What is the formula for MMF? MMF F equal to N into I. What is N? Number of turns. I is the current. This is called MMF. Okay. Magnetomotive force. It is the product of the number of turns and the current. Okay. So now we have three phases. For each phase we have MMF. Okay. So for phase A, the MMF is, let us denote with FA, number of turns into current. Okay. So what is the number of turns? For example, this is per phase n number of turns cos theta. See here, I'm rounding up here. This is the phase A. Reference angle is theta. Fine. Now the MMF produced from, this is the number of turns into current. What is the current? IA. MMF produced by the phase B is the N phase cos. This is theta minus 120. Phase B. This is 120 degrees phase angle with respect to phase A. So N phase cos theta minus 120 into IB. Similarly, FC equal to N phase cos theta minus 240 into IC. Okay. So that equal to, that is FA equal to N phase cos theta into what is IA? I maximum cos omega t. FB equal to N phase cos theta minus 120 into what is IB? I maximum cos omega t minus 120. Similarly, FC equals to N phase cos theta minus 240 into I maximum cos omega t minus 240. So here FA, FB, FC is the MMF, magnetomotive force produced by that corresponding winding. Okay, I is the current, theta is the space angle, omega t is the displacement, current displacement angle, electrical. Okay. Now I'm repeating again, MMF is equal to number of turns into current. So we have found MMF for each phase, FA, FB, and FC. That is number of turns into current. So finally we got this. Fine. Now in the mission we have only FA or only FB or FC or resultant of these three phase MMFs. So in the mission we have the resultant of three phase MMFs. The mission means air gap. Okay, so all these three fluxes produced in the air gap. So the resultant is the addition of these three. That is FA bar, FB plus FC. Okay, this magnetomotive force MMF is a DC quantity or alternating quantity, time varying quantity. It is a time varying quantity because it is produced from the time varying currents. So we have to denote with vectors. So this is the resultant vector. FA bar plus FB bar plus FC bar. Okay. So you do one thing, all of you note down this. First of all, write down the production of rotating magnetic field, mathematical proof. Now mute your microphone. Who is that? Sai Raghu. Write down production of rotating magnetic field in brackets mathematical proof. You can write anything in the examination, either mathematical or physical proof, what we had done yesterday or last class. Right. Okay, again, write down to produce the RMF, that is rotating magnetic field. To produce the RMF, two conditions must be satisfied. So write those two conditions. Already we have written for the physical proof. Repeat the same two conditions. First one is three phase windings must be displaced by 120 degrees apart in space, electrical. Second one is currents passing through that also must be time displaced by 120 degrees, electrical. Okay. Write down. Let us consider IA, IB, and IC are the phase currents. IA, IB, and IC are the phase currents. Then IA equal to I maximum cos omega t. Write down these three. IA equal to I maximum cos omega t. IB equal to I maximum cos omega t minus 120. IC equal to I maximum cos omega t minus 240. In brackets, write down for simplification, we have taken cosine function. We can also take sin omega t also. Then also we'll get the same result in flux. Okay. But for easy calculation, we have taken cos. Okay. So IA, IB, IC.
Excuse me, sir.
Next, yes.
So someone lost their connection and he's waiting in the lobby now. It seems.
Okay, okay. I allowed them. Admitted. Okay. Next, write down capital F suffix A. FA, FB, and FC are the MMF produced by the FA, FB, and FC are the MMF produced by the winding A, B, and C. MMF produced by the winding A, B, and C. Next point, number of turns for phase A. Number of turns for phase A is n phase cos theta. N phase cos theta. Number of turns for phase B is n phase cos theta minus 120. Similarly, for phase C is n phase cos theta minus 240. This is number of turns NA, NB, NC. Okay. Now we know MMF equal to MMF capital F equal to number of turns into current. MMF capital F equal to number of turns into current. Therefore, write down FA equal to, directly you can write this one. FA equal to n phase cos theta into I maximum cos omega t, and FB and FC. You can note it down. Now, the resultant flux or the resultant MMF. What is the another formula for MMF? We have MMF equals to or flux equal to MMF by reluctance. So MMF equals to flux into reluctance. Okay. So MMF is nothing but the flux result, magnetic flux. Okay. So the resultant flux or the resultant MMF FR equal to FA bar plus FB bar plus FC bar. Now add those three components FA, FB, and FC. So you can add on your own. And tell me what is the FR, resultant FR. See, before that, look into first one, FA equal to n phase into cos theta into I maximum cos omega t, right? So here we can represent, all of you listen, don't write, see. So in this, we can multiply this n phase into I max, remaining whatever it may be. See, what is n phase? Number of turns per phase. Im is the maximum value of current. Again, n into I gives the, n into I gives what? N into I is the MMF. Yes, number of turns into current is the MMF. So it is F for phase A. Now tell me, in three-phase windings, each phase has equal number of turns. That is, n winding for phase A, number of turns for phase A, phase B, and phase C are same. That is, n phase is common for all. Current also same, maximum value of current for R phase, Y phase, and B phase, or A phase, B phase, and C phase. So n phase into Im we can represent as F maximum. Okay, now you can solve. solve it and tell me what is the resultant value of flux FR or MMF. Okay, so you can solve it later. I'll give you the answer. The resultant value is 3/2 into Fm cos theta minus omega t. Okay, now if you see here, if you solve this, we will get Fr equals to 3/2 into Fm cos omega t. This is the resultant MMF in the air gap. Okay. Now, what is the amplitude of this resultant flux? 3/2 into Fm. That is 1.5 times of the maximum value of flux. Okay. So, here Fr is the function of theta and omega t. Okay. So, Fr varies with respect to theta or omega t. That is, if omega t equal to 0, this is omega t equal to 0, then what is the resultant flux? Fr equal to, substitute in this final equation, 3/2 into Fm cos theta. Okay, omega t is 0. Cos theta means we have taken reference, that is at 0 degrees. So the flux waveform starts. This is the flux waveform. Now if omega t equal to 45 degrees, now Fr equal to 3/2 into Fm cos theta minus 45. Theta minus 45 means the flux waveform starts after this waveform or before this waveform. See, this is the flux waveform at omega t equal to 0. So resultant we got 1.5 Fm into cos theta. This is cos theta. Now at omega t equal to 45 degrees, what is the resultant? 1.5 Fm into cos theta minus 45. So this flux waveform will start after this waveform or before this waveform?
After.
Yes, because theta minus 45 lagging. So here it will start. So this is the flux waveform. Again, when omega t equal to 90 degrees and omega t equal 120, 150, if your omega t is varying, the flux waveform is shifting in the space or not? Okay, the flux wave is shifting in the space with respect to theta. So this flux is shifting as angle increases. This type of MMF is called as rotating magnetic field. This is the mathematical proof. So physically we have seen how the magnetic field is moving in the last class. Okay. So this expression we use 3/2 into Fm. This is the constant. Only variable is the omega t. Then with respect to theta, this will vary. So this is the mathematical proof for the production of rotating magnetic field. All of you got it? Or any doubt? If you have any doubt, I will explain now itself. Tell me. Everyone clear? Simple. We have to calculate the MMF. Formula for the MMF is N into I. We have three phases. So we have to calculate the MMF for each phase, FA, FB, and FC. Okay. FA is the NA into IA. NA means phase A number of turns. Okay. So that is, we have taken cosine waveform for simplification. Reference is cos theta. Right. So N phase cos theta. Next, B phase is displaced by 120. So B phase number of turns are N phase cos theta minus 120. C phase is theta minus 240. That should be multiplied with the three phase currents, which are time displaced by 120. That is I maximum cos omega t minus 120, cos omega t minus 240. So multiply those two for each phase and add the three quantities FA, FB, and FC. We will get the resultant flux in the air gap. So that resultant flux, this is the expression. Now we have seen this is varying with respect to omega t and in space. So this is called rotating magnetic field. The magnetic flux is moving in the space with respect to theta. Fine. Okay. So now this is the production of rotating magnetic field. Now, what is the speed of this rotating magnetic field? The speed of this rotating magnetic field is the synchronous speed, that is 120 into F by P. Okay. Now, if you listen carefully, each and every point is very important for analysis of induction motor. Now we have discussed the rotating magnetic field means the magnetic field is rotating in the air gap between the stator and rotor. This magnetic field is produced by stator winding or rotor winding? 23. Roll number 23. Or Naman Gupta?
Sir, stator.
Who is this? Naman Gupta, 23.
Sir, Naman.
Naman, yes. This magnetic field is produced by stator and it is rotating in the air gap between the stator and rotor. Okay? Yes. So what is the speed of this rotating magnetic field? That is synchronous speed, 120 into F by P. That is, this rotating magnetic field speed depends upon the supply frequency F, we know, which is always constant, 50 Hz. And what is P here? Number of poles. So the speed depends upon the number of poles. Okay. So this speed is called synchronous speed. Now tell me, once the machine is designed, supply is constant in India, 50 Hz, no change. Once the machine is designed with 4 poles, can we change the poles while running after designing the machine, after manufacturing the machine? No. So 50 is constant, 120 is constant, number of poles also constants once the machine is designed and manufactured. For this, what is the speed? 1500 RPM. So the speed is constant for a given machine or it is changing? The speed is constant. It will never change for a given machine once the machine is designed and manufactured. Okay. So this is the speed of the rotating magnetic field, NS. So onwards, this NS is called as synchronous or stator flux speed, or in some terminology, in some textbooks or in some questions, we may given as stator speed. For example, stator speed is 1500 RPM. Now, what does it mean? Stator is rotating or a stationary one? It is a stationary one. But the meaning of the stator speed is stator flux speed is this 1500 RPM. All of it clear? Okay. So listen carefully from here onwards. Each and every point is important. I mean, this is also important RMF, but once you have the textbook or this notes, you can read it. But these points you have to understand while I was explaining. Okay. So this is the synchronous speed. Fine. Now we will discuss slip. What is slip? Sai Raghu, what is slip? Okay, slip is not what you have thought. I'll tell you, before discussing the slip plays a very important role in the induction machine. Okay, the operation of the induction machine depends on the slip value. Okay. So before discussing slip, we will recall the working of induction motor again. This is the stator and this is the stator winding, and we have rotor. Okay. The stator is supplied by 3-phase AC supply of 50 Hz. Then 3-phase currents passes and the rotating magnetic field is produced. We have seen just now. This rotating magnetic field in the air gap rotates at a speed of ns 120f by p and will cut the rotor conductors. Then EMF will be induced in the rotor conductors, current passes, another flux also produced from the rotor. The interaction of these two fluxes causes the rotation of the rotor. Now the rotor rotates. Okay. Fine. Now in this, what we have to understand is, in the air gap, the flux is moving with a speed of ns, which is 120f by p. The rotors will rotate to minimize the relative speed between these two, rotor and the stator flux. Okay, for example, the stator flux is moving with a speed of 1500 rpm. Initially, what is the speed of the rotor? 0. Initially, the speed of the rotor is 0. When we give supply to the motor, then the rotor starts rotating from 0 to higher speeds. Okay, this rotor will rotate. Okay, first initial in starting case, what is the relative speed between the stator flux and the rotor? Relative speed means ns minus n. It is not 0. ns speed is 1500. Rotor speed is 0. So relative speed is 1500 rpm. Relative speed. Okay. N is the speed of rotor. Ns is the speed of stator flux, or simply we can tell stator speed. Okay. So when we give supply to the three-phase induction machine, first we will get the rotating magnetic field with a speed of ns. At the very starting moment, the speed of the rotor is 0. Now the relative speed is this one. Okay. Now the rotor will rotate in order to reduce the relative speed. So in the same direction of the rotating magnetic field, the rotor also rotates. Now suppose the rotor will rotate at a speed of 1000 rpm. What is the relative speed now?
500.
Yes, relative speed is 1500 minus 1000, 500 rpm. Okay. So this is happened as per Lenz law. So what is Lenz law? The effect will oppose the very cost to produce it. Okay, all of you clear this point, very important. The effect will oppose the very cost to produce it. Okay. What is the cost to produce the torque in the machine? Relative speed. Okay, if relative speed, there is no relative speed. For an instant, listen, if there is no relative speed. Now what is the relative speed ledu ante? Ns equal to n. Okay. Now what is the EMF induced in the rotor winding? If there is no relative speed, the rotor speed and the stator speed both are same. What is the EMF induced in the rotor winding?
0.
0. Because the rotor conductors and the stator flux both are moving at the same speed. Then there is no cutting action. There is no change of flux linkages. EMF in the rotor conductor is 0. Then what is the rotor currents? 0. What is the rotor flux? 0. Then what is the torque and the speed? 0. No motoring action. Okay. So in order to get the motoring action, the relative speed helps us. So the reason is the relative speed. Now as per Lenz law, the rotor will rotate. That is the effect. This rotation will oppose the very cost to produce it. The cause is the relative speed. Relative speed tagginchali ante rotor has to rotate in the same direction as the stator speed. Okay. So ns minus n is the relative speed. Now we can define the slip. So it is defined as ns minus n by ns. The relative speed divided by ns. Percentage slip is into 100. Okay. I'd like to write down the definition of slip. It is defined as the difference between the speed of the stator field in brackets ns and the speed of the rotor in brackets n. It is the difference between the speed of the stator field ns and the speed of the rotor n. Expressed as a fraction of synchronous speed. Expressed as a fraction of synchronous speed. Okay, write down the formula. Slip S equal to ns minus n by ns into 100. ns minus n by ns into 100. So listen, the slip S plays very important role in the induction machine. Fine. Now tell me, if slip S equals to 0, what does it mean?
No moment, no current, no torque.
Yes, that is slip S equals to 0. That means ns equal to n or ns minus n equal to 0, right? So ns equal to n. Stator field and rotor speed both are same. Then there is no motoring action. There is no action of the induction motor. Fine. Okay. So write down in general, the slip varies between 2 to 5%. In general, the slip varies between 2 to 5%. That is 2% means 0.02, 5% means 0.05. Okay, 0.05. Okay, just solve one problem, small problem. A 60H induction motor has two poles and runs at 3510 RPM. A 60H two-pole induction motor runs at 3510 RPM. Calculate synchronous speed and the percentage of slip. Calculate synchronous speed and the percentage of slip. Okay. Tell me, what is the synchronous speed value?
3600.
3600.
Yes. So given frequency equals to 60 Hz, number of poles are 2 and runs at 3510. All of you listen, and runs at 3510 means this is the value of ns or n?
N.
I'll tell you. When the motor is running at a speed of so and so RPM, motor is running means it is the speed of the rotor or stator? Rotor.
Rotor.
Because the mechanical load is connected to rotor. Okay. So directly, if we given motor speed, that is the rotor speed. Motor speed or rotor speed both are same. So n, the given value is n 3510 RPM. We are asked to find the synchronous speed. What is the formula? 120 into F by P is 120 into 60 Hz by 2. That is 3600 RPM. What is the formula for slip? Percentage slip?
NS minus N by NS.
Into 100. So that is 3600 by 3510 by 3600 into 100. So we'll get 2.5% percentage slip. Okay. Mute your microphones. So next one, you can solve it head on. P directly I'll give the values. P equal to 4, F equal to 50 H, 400 volts 3-phase induction motor, 400 volts 3-phase induction motor, operating at a slip of 1.5%. What is the speed of the motor? Operating at a slip of 1.5%. What is the speed of the motor? Yes, tell me the answer.
$1477 RPM, sir.
Yes, it is 1477 RPM. So we are asked to find the motor speed N value. Okay, so the slip value is given. Slip is 1.5%. That is 0.015. Okay, we can find NS value 120 into F by P. So 120 into 50 H by 4 poles, 1500 RPM. Now we have the formula S equals to NS minus N by NS. That is 0.015 equal to. So from this we can find N value as 1477.5 RPM. Okay. So remember the N value or speed of the rotor or motor speed is always nearly equal to the stator speed or synchronous speed. Okay. Right. So next one, frequency of rotor current. Right on, frequency of rotor current. Okay. So we know the current is passing through the rotor winding because of the mutual induction of stator flux and rotor winding. Then rotor current or rotor EMF. Now tell me what is the frequency of the stator current? That is F. That is called as supply frequency. Okay. Now, what is the formula for this supply frequency? NP by 120. Okay. So it depends upon the speed also. Right. Now, the rotor frequency means the rotor currents frequency. We will denote with f dash. So anyhow, the formula for frequency is n into p by 120. Okay, that is n by 120 by p. Now here, when coming to rotor condition, the speed is the relative speed between the stator flux and the rotor. Okay, because the rotor is rotating, the stator flux also rotating. Now, how can we find the speed between these two? Relative speed. Relative speed. What is relative speed? Ns minus n. Okay. Now the rotor frequency depends upon this relative speed or not? Definitely. So here we need to substitute the speed is here relative speed. Ns minus n by 120 by p. This is the rotor frequency. Okay. Now from slip definition we have ns minus n by ns. Now what is ns minus n? We can write s into ns. Therefore f dash equal to s into ns by 120 by p. That is, again, what is ns here? 120f by p and 120 by p. Now 120 by p, 120 by p gets cancelled. We will get s into f. This is the formula for rotor frequency. Okay, I'll explain again. The general formula for the frequency is n into p by 120. Okay, so for rotor frequency, we can denote with f dash. That is also frequency. Formula is np by 120. But here the speed is the relative speed between stator flux and the rotor conductor speed or rotor speed. So relative speed is ns minus n. Okay, from slip value we can substitute here. We'll get the f dash equals to s into f. Okay, so rotor frequency equal to slip times the stator frequency. Okay, you can note it down. This one also, the rotor frequency. So f dash equals to s into f. Now, see, for example, if the stator frequency is 50 Hz and the slip value is 3%, what could be the f dash? 0.03 into 50. What is the value? Is it 1.5 Hz? Listen, so see here, the difference between the rotor frequency and the stator frequency is very large. The rotor frequency is very, very small. Okay. Yes. Now we will discuss 2 to 3 points regarding this slip and speeds of stator and rotor. So which will be useful for objective bits. Okay. First I'll ask one by one. 31. Are you there? 31. Okay. Roll number 2. Chandrakala. Sorry, Dharani. You're not responding. (32) Yes, 32. Tell me, what is the formula for synchronous speed? Synchronous speed formula is ns equal to 120 into f by p. Now, what is the speed? ns is which speed in the machine?
Stator field produced by the stator speed.
Yes, stator flux speed, or in general we can call it as stator speed. Okay. Yes. Okay. What is n?
Rotor speed.
32. What is n?
Rotor speed.
Yes, n is the speed of rotor, or
Rotor.
in general we can call it as motor speed. Okay. So now ns minus n is the
Slip.
relative speed.
Slip.
Relative speed, or we can call it as slip speed.
Slip speed.
Okay. Yes. Now we will
Okay.
discuss one more point here. When the rotor in the rotor winding current passes, that is also three-phase current, which are displaced by 120 degrees space and time. Okay. So this is rotor winding, for example. One more flux is coming from rotor. That flux also rotates. Okay, this flux also rotates. This is called rotor flux. And from stator also, we'll have another flux. This is called stator flux. Okay. And now my first question is, all of you listen. What is the relative speed between stator flux and rotor flux? Anyone? Anyone? What is the relative speed between the stator flux and rotor flux?
NS minus N only, sir.
NS minus?
N only, sir. See,
No, no, no.
like synchronous speed and
Sir, since both are in same direction in relative speed concept will take plus.
See, I'll tell you. The relative speed between the stator flux and the rotor flux is 0. Okay, I'll make you clear. Point. First point I'll explain. Second question. What is the relative speed between stator flux and rotor? Relative speed between stator flux and rotor.
NS minus N.
Yes.
NS minus
NS minus N.
Yes. NS minus N. Slip speed. Okay. That is, the rotor stator flux rotates with the speed of ns. The rotor moves with the speed of n. Always n less than ns. Okay. Now, how the first point is valid, I'll explain. See.
Sir, can I explain that?
Yes, yes, very good. Who is that?
Sai Kumar, sir.
Yes. Explain, Sai Kumar.
Sir, as the rotor is rotating in the flux, rotor conductors induces EMF.
Yes.
Its EMF causes current flow through its conductor, and flux produced by that conductor is the rotor flux.
Yes.
Here, the EMF produced by in the rotor is due to the stator flux.
Okay.
So the frequency or the speed of the flux will definitely be equal to the stator flux. That means the flux produced in the rotor is due to the stator flux. So the speed between the rotor flux and stator flux is equal.
Okay, very good, but it is not exactly.
So the relative speed between them should be time invariant, sir.
Yes, analysis is good, Sai Kumar, but I will explain in detail. Listen. The rotor is rotating with a speed of n, for example, 1470 rpm. Now, the flux producing from this rotor also rotates. That is called rotating magnetic field. Okay. For example, with a speed of 30 rpm. To understand this concept, imagine this is a train moving with a speed of 80 rpm or 80 kilometers per hour. Sorry, okay. Train is moving with a speed of 80 kilometers per hour. On the top of the train, if you stand and if you run with a speed of 20 kilometers per hour, okay, your speed is 20 kilometers per hour, train speed is 80 kilometers per hour. What is your speed with respect to track now? With respect to track,
60.
track is a
60.
stationary one.
60 km.
100, sir.
100 it is. Train is moving in this direction with 80 kilometers per hour. So if you stand, simply if you stand on the train, your speed also equal to 80 kilometers. But you are running with a speed of 20 kilometers on the train. So your speed is train speed plus your own speed. 20 kilometers plus 80, that is 100. So similarly, the rotor is moving with a speed of 1470 rpm, and the rotor flux also it is a rotating magnetic field, which is produced from the rotor winding. Okay, that will rotate with another speed of 30. So the net speed of the rotor flux is this 1470 plus 30, 1500 rpm, which is equal to the synchronous speed. So that is the reason the relative speed between stator flux and rotor flux is 0. Otherwise, blindly you can say, you can answer this question how it is. I told you in the very beginning, first class, in any motor, if you take any motor, in order to produce the torque, we must have two fluxes. First condition, no doubt at all. And the second condition is the relative speed between these two fluxes must be 0. If you take DC motor, induction motor, synchronous motor, or any motor, these are the conditions. Okay, two fluxes undali, or two fluxes majhilo speed ent undali, difference to 0 undali. Okay, so based on this concept, you can answer this, but this is the reason in induction motor. Okay, the rotor is moving, and from the rotor winding, again we are getting rotating magnetic field. Those two speeds will aid each other. Resultant is synchronous speed. Okay, now answer my question. What is the relative speed between the stator and rotor in case of induction motor? This is objective bit. What is the relative speed between the stator and rotor in case of induction motor?
N.
How much?
N.
10.
N.
No, we have not given any values. No,
Rotor speed.
not for this case. General question. We have not given any 1470 or 1500. Any values are not there. This is the objective bit. I am giving you what is the relative speed between the stator and rotor of induction motor.
Rotor speed.
Rotor speed, sir.
NS minus N, sir.
Yes, that is relative speed. NS
Stator
minus
is
N.
stationary.
Stator is stationary.
It won't rotate. It's just a stationary part of the induction motor. So the relative speed will be the speed of
Will
the
be
rotor.
the rotor speed.
Wait. First of all, you have to understand the question. The question is, what is the relative speed between the stator and rotor? Okay. What is the stator speed?
0.
It is a stationary. What is the rotor speed?
N.
N. Now, what is the relative speed?
Minus N.
Stationary means speed is 0. N minus 0, that is N. That is the rotor speed.
0 minus
It is not 0. Relative speed minus whichever is higher, we have to separate the lower value. N minus 0. That is relative speed. Okay. Now, second question is, what is the speed of the rotor with respect to stator magnetic field? What is the speed of the rotor with respect to stator magnetic field?
ns minus n.
ns minus n.
Yes.
Minus of?
Yes, tell me.
Rotor speed will be less than the stator field, no sir. So it will be negative of the value.
No. Here we are asking the stator, not stator field. The relative speed between stator and rotor we are asking. Stator is a stationary frame. Okay,
Yes,
it is
okay.
the speed is 0. Rotor is moving with the speed of n. Now relative speed is n minus 0. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now the final question. What is the speed of the rotor magnetic field with respect to stator surface? You can note it down otherwise.
NS.
Very good. NS. I am repeating again. The speed of the rotor magnetic field with respect to stator surface. Stator surface is a stationary one. Speed is 0. Rotor magnetic field speed is also NS. Just now we have discussed. Okay. So NS minus 0, NS. Next question. What is the speed of the rotor magnetic field with respect to stator magnetic field?
0, sir.
Yes, 0. Because rotor magnetic field and stator magnetic field both are moving at a speed of synchronous speed. Okay. So like this, you need to have a clarity. What is rotor field, what is stator field, and relative speeds. Okay. So you go through this. If you have any doubt, again we will discuss in the next class. So for today's class, any doubts? You please ask me, don't feel shy. Even if you have very basic doubt, you can ask. Okay, any doubt? Yes. Okay. So you have to be thorough with this concept, rotating magnetic field, slip, and the speeds of the stator and rotor and fluxes. Okay. Fine.
ఇది బాగుంది